With many new raiders joining us on the top side, I have noticed when solo queuing that many people don't know some of the basics of the game, so I compiled a list of things to help those new players. Before we get started, if you'd like to see more Arc Raiders videos, please consider subscribing so I can reach 100 subs before the end of the year. Thanks. So when first starting out, something important for everyone to consider is what loadouts to run when loading into a game. In my honest opinion, I think if you're new, you should use these 4 weapons only until you can get the hang of the game. And my reason for this is because they are cheap and easy to get, and if you master them, by the time you reach the higher ranks and get used to the game, you will be able to dominate whenever you're down on your luck. Also note that these weapons are at their best when level 4, so if you're using them as level 1 weapons, prepare to struggle with any weapon in general, maybe aside from like 2 of these weapons today, so upgrading is essential. As you level up your weapons, they get better stats and are more viable, and these 4 in my opinion are better than all the purple and legendary weapons. What you see on the screen is the Kiddo, the Stitcher, the Pharaoh, and the Toro. Starting off with the Stitcher. It is a really good SMG for short range and only really viable medium to long range if you tap fire, but this shouldn't be its intended use. The Stitcher should only be used for short range PvP and to take out smaller AI enemies like the Tick or the Wasp, and that's about it. It also needs a basic extended mag and it's very lethal. The reason you shouldn't use it for Hornets or any of the bigger arc enemies is because it uses light ammo. You're just gonna end up wasting all your ammo, and if you get ambushed or something by someone else, you're not gonna have enough ammo, so that's something to consider. This gun also melts as a level 1 weapon for PvP. Now if you do want to engage arc, then consider using the Pharaoh. It's a heavy ammo weapon that is very effective medium to long range and shoots 1 round at a time. Despite that, it's probably one of the top weapons to take out any arc enemy. At level 1, it's a pain to reload, but once it's level 4, you become so lethal. For PvP, depending on the enemy's shield, it would take around 3 to 5 shots to down a person. Another semi-weapon to consider using is the Kiddo. Pretty good for medium to short range and fires as fast as you can, so with enough practice you can do very well with this weapon. This one in my opinion is better for arc than the Stitcher, despite also using light ammo because you can control the recoil better and be more accurate hitting your shots. But then again, it's not an automatic weapon like the Stitcher, so choose wisely. PvP wise, this and the Stitcher can down a person with 1 mag or less depending on if you hit your shots, but like I said, the Stitcher is quicker, so bear that in mind. Last but not least, we have the Toro, which is a shotgun. This gun is only good for short range since it's a shotty, but it's highly effective in PvP and for taking out any arc. You slap on an extended mag on this and you become an issue close range. For PvP, it also takes around 3 to 5 shots depending on the enemy's shield, and can take more if you're trying to get someone from medium to long range. Now the other things you need to take when having a loadout is shield rechargers, heals, and grenades. I would recommend 5 to 8 basic bandages and 5 shield rechargers in your quick use. This is enough for you to get through a round and also allow you to free up some more space in your inventory. In terms of grenades, there are so many of them for different uses. I suggest just picking them up and using them and choosing your favorite ones and sticking with them. I highly suggest keeping smokes though, because that allows you to get away from bad scenarios pretty quickly. I will add, you should probably keep wolf packs and thermites as they are currently the best durables for taking out arc enemies, so keep that in mind. In terms of ammo count, I suggest for light weapons to bring around 300 rounds, for medium to bring around 200 rounds, for heavy to bring about 120, and for shotgun ammo to bring about 100 rounds. This allows you to have enough ammo for a typical round for both PvP and to defeat arcs. Now for your augment, I suggest sticking to the combat or looting augment for the green rarity. The combat gives you enough space for a raid while also being able to equip light shield and a medium shield, and the looting augment only allows a light shield but gives you a ton more backpack space. For the blue and purple rarity, however, the tactical augments give a passive ability of dropping a smoke when your shield depletes. So I would stick with the tactical or looting augment if you plan on using the blue or purple rarity for augments. Also note that all looting augments only let you use the light shield unless it's the purple rarity augment with the name Survivor on it. This one only allows light and medium shield. With this said, I would stick with the green rarity being the combat and looting augments since they are cheaper to replace. I would stick with them until you are able to get your workbenches maxed out, as well as getting the use to the weight skill from the green skill tree. In terms of shields, I recommend the exact same strategy as the augments. Just use the green one until your workbenches are maxed out. And something to note is that the medium and heavy shield weigh you down more if you don't have the use to the weight skill. So I'd recommend avoiding them until you get that maxed out. And with that, you're all set for your basic loadouts raider. Now for the skill tree. I gotta keep this section short. I have the skill tree path you should do initially when starting out, just based on mobility and getting more loot. So here's the image of the first tree you should put points into and where you should put them. Pause the video if you need to. Here's the second tree image on how you should fill them out. And here's the third tree. These aren't all your skill points, but these build the basics of your character. So for the rest of the points, I suggest putting them into whatever fits your playstyle. If you're aggressive, maybe go with the yellow tree. If you want more loot and want to craft and raid, go with the red. If you want to be more stealthy, go with the green tree. But overall, these starting skills I'm showing has a mixture of loot and mobility and crafting. Now for inventory storage. So if you did not know, you can upgrade your inventory space. You get a max of 280 slots, which to me isn't enough, And part of the battle in this game is making sure you have enough stuff for whatever it is you need. I personally suggest you track all the materials you need for the workbenches and the chicken scrappy so that you know what to get. When tracking a material, it shows an eye icon, so that will tell you what you need when in a raid. I would also track the materials for the 4 weapons I mentioned above, as well as tracking the materials for bandages, shield rechargers, and your favorite grenade, plus a smoke grenade. The rest you can sell unless it's some sort of legendary or purple weapon attachment, then you should keep it and use it. If not, your inventory will just clog up real quick, trust me. Also bonus, if you get the hook, I'd use it up until you lose it, since they seem to be the easier legendary to find. You can go online and look up the future materials you need for upgrades for the benches and scrappy, but it becomes too much of a hassle for what it's worth. And for me, besides toasters, rusty gears, and any sales drop from the arcs, it's pretty easy to get everything. So with those mentioned, you can keep those materials until you finish upgrading and sell them off when you're done. Now for the final section, I'm going to tell you the maps you should be playing depending on what you're doing. I'm not going to give you too much loot routes since it seems everything is getting buffed or nerfed, so I would just watch some other video for the current best loot path. But in general, you can predict what you'll get out of the raid based on the map you choose. If you need money, I would go to Spaceport because it drops a lot of trinkets for you to sell, as well as some of those harder materials to get like rusted gears and toasters and CPU fans. I would choose Bluegate if you want to get more gear overall for your loadouts like weapons, heals, etc. I would go Damn Battlegrounds if you want a mixture of loadout gear and materials, and I would go Buried City if you need certain materials and not money. Stella Montes is still a new map, but it seems to be mostly for loadout gear since that's what I see myself and others constantly getting, but that map is a sweatfest right now, so I don't recommend it for beginner. I also want to note that pretty much all of these maps have puzzles, and these puzzles will unlock rooms where you can unlock more loot crates. You can find them online on YouTube, but I just wanted to make you aware of them. They usually are some sort of box/battery that you see. I would also stick with the places on the map that you have a square over the location, since that's where you can find the more worthwhile loot. If you're looting somewhere where the map doesn't show as squared out, the loot tends to be more mediocre at best usually. Last but not least, we have endgame. Whenever you finish upgrading and leveling up, I suggest going for the expedition projects if you want to prestige/reset your character to be completely fresh, but with some rewards for doing so. Or just avoid it in general if you don't want to do that. You will also have the tools you need to do events like the Harvester event that summons the Queen and the Matriarch. These things are a beast, and without proper game knowledge and weapons, you most likely won't make it. But that concludes this video. If you enjoyed, again, please consider subscribing and leaving a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.